Pokémon Go is designed to be played in real life, but when the pandemic hit, they had to adapt in order to help people kill time in their flats. Recently, they announced that they're going to be rolling back the pandemic measures and encouraging people to go outside again. This has angered a lot of players. Why would this game be so eager to get people out of their pants and onto the street? Let's investigate. Balls. Part 1. John Hanke. John Hanke is on a mission, and that mission is to own the world by mapping it. Everyone's got to have a hobby. He founded the satellite mapping startup called Keyhole in 2001 with funding from the CIA. Google later purchased this and rebranded it Google Earth. Hanke was vice president for Google Maps and the driving force behind the controversial plans to photograph public and private spaces for Street View. And when places protested they didn't want to be on Street View, like the people of Broughton, England in 2009, Hanke simply found ways around their objections. As you can see, he won. Part 2. Niantic Labs. John Hanke founded Niantic Labs, the company behind Pokémon Go, in 2010. Originally, it was a startup within Google, but it became independent in October 2015, with $30 million worth of funding from Google. So it was independent, but very much funded by Daddy. Niantic's original mission statement was to create parallel reality games that would track and herd people through various territories that Street View created. I'm guessing because the mission statement, "Don't be evil," was already taken. Pokémon Go was born out of Google Maps, and most of the original development team also created maps. It's worth noting that Mr. Hanke, no, not that one, although now I can't unsee it. Mr. Hanke named his company after a 19th century merchant sailing vessel undone by greed. I shit you not. In 1849, the Niantic had been sold and repurposed for the whaling trade when it set sail for San Francisco. The captain made an unplanned stop in Panama and charged hundreds of pilgrims to travel in the sweaty, cramped hold of the ship on their way to the Californian gold rush. While on board, the pilgrims filled the ship's crew with gold fever, and when they docked in San Francisco, everyone abandoned ship in search for gold. Unable to continue, the captain was forced to sell the ship for a pittance, leaving it wedged between Clay and Montgomery Street, where today you can find a Charizard. Part 3. The power of games. From an early age, Hanke recognised the power of the game format as a means to modify people's behaviour. Pokémon Go is designed to be played in the real world and relies on augmented reality and is structured like a treasure hunt. Much like the original Pokémon, the original goal is to catch them all. The main difference between this version and the Game Boy version is this time the game is trying to catch all of us. Mr. Hanke knew that the key to behaviour modification is embedded into all game rules and social dynamics. He said if you want to turn the world into your game board, the places you want people to interact with have to have certain characteristics. Namely, there should be a reason for the player to go there. From the ground up, Pokémon Go was designed to motivate us into action, using the game system of rewarding some actions and punishing other actions to get us to act the way they want. According to Wharton professor Kevin Werbeck, all games include 3 tiers of action. At the highest level are the dynamics. These are the motivational energy of the game, such as the competitive element or the compelling narrative. Next are the mechanics. These are the building blocks that drive action and also build engagement and in turn investment in the game from the player. This is where the player is rewarded or punished within the game's limitations. Finally, there are the components, which are designed to move the mechanics. These are the most visible aspect of the game and include things like badges, progression points, quests, predefined challenges, leaderboards. You get the point. It's worth noting that Professor of Interactive Computing at Georgia Tech, Ian Bogus, has called for these games to be renamed exploitativeware because their sole aim is to manipulate the behaviour of the players. Well, he sounds fun at parties. I'm not even joking. This is game recognising game. Pokémon Go takes these ideas and concepts in an entirely new direction. Players go through the real world oblivious to the fact that they are the ones being played.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Part 4. Pokémon Go. It was 2016. An Englishman spent 11 hours trying to make a cup of tea with a Wi-Fi kettle, Nigel Farage hung out with Donald Trump in a golden lift, and Pokémon Go launched, attempting to answer the biggest surveillance capitalism question. How can human behaviour be modified quickly and at scale towards a guaranteed outcome? It was a very exciting time to be alive. The Pokémon Go app did several things. Firstly, it mapped all of our actions to see if we were acting in the way they wanted us to. Secondly, it used our cameras to record and photograph the interior and exterior of public and private places, giving Mr. Hanke a giant geographical boner. And finally, it reminded millennials to be the very best, like no one ever was. This showed Pokémon Go how to automatically condition and herd collective behaviour without any of the people being aware of it, much like Gangnam Style or the Macarena. Pokémon Go was first unveiled to the Wall Street Journal in September 2015. Niantic told the reporter that the game wouldn't include ads. Instead, revenues would come from in-game microtransactions, but they declined to say exactly what would be for sale. Yes, I'll take our data for $100. I'm sorry, that's the wrong answer. It's actually our future actions and free will. But don't worry, nobody goes away empty-handed. Here's your own Wi-Fi kettle. Niantic also promised a location tracking bracelet that vibrates and lights up when a person approaches a Pokémon, as well as a plastic hand that would pat players on the head when they spent money in the right shops. Pokémon Go was launched on the 6th of July 2016 in America, Australia and New Zealand, and within a week it became the most downloaded, highest grossing app in America, with as many active Android users as Twitter. More than 60% of the app's downloads were in daily use, with an average daily usage of 44 minutes per user. This caused the game's European rollout to be delayed and allowed all the Pokémon in France to get a head start hiding. This was a cultural moment and movement that Niantic and small businesses were quick to pick up on. The game demonstrated unprecedented effectiveness in getting people to go to a business, just as long as there was either a Pokémon or a gym at that location. And when I say gym, I mean a gym for the players' virtual pets, not themselves. Heaven forbid a gamer should actually do some exercise every now and then. And everybody wanted in on this action. At the extreme end, this pizza bar paid $10 for lure modules, which I admit sound like the way an incel would describe their plans for getting a girlfriend. In virtual reality, they were game tokens designed to attract Pokémon to a specific location. This was so effective that it made Pokémon appear on the bar stools and in the toilets, which is where most of the lazy players were anyway. During the weekend after the app's launch, that bar's food and drink sales shot up 30%. 70% above their average. Bloomberg said the game had achieved every retailer's dream of using people's location data to herd them into physical locations. As if that was a good thing? Mr. Hanke said that sponsored locations would be available in the near future, and Nintendo shares shot up 52%, adding $10.2 billion to their market capitalization. And millions of people were reliving their childhood. What could possibly go wrong? Part 5. How does Pokémon Go make money? Pokémon Go makes money in two ways: in-app purchases for game kit and sponsored locations. We're going to focus on the latter. Now that the app has proven that people will literally go anywhere, anytime to collect a virtual pet, Hanke went big. McDonald's paid to put Pokémon in 30,000 Japanese outlets. I'm not loving it. Starbucks announced it would join in on the fun, with 12,000 of its stores becoming Pokestops or gyms. They also released a Pokémon Frappuccino, which allowed you to go frap yourself, and a UK insurance company offered special coverage plans for players' mobile phones. Of course, it wasn't all fun and games, as several people discovered dead bodies while trying to catch them all. And these ghost Pokémon weren't even worth anything, so they were just getting in the way of the advertisers. Although Pokémon Go's appeal has petered out, Mr. Hanke said that they have only just scratched the surface of what's possible. Pokemon Go proved that surveillance capitalism could operate in the real world as well or better than it does in the virtual one. Part 6. Our data. Only 6 days after Pokemon Go's launch, BuzzFeed was trying to warn people how much data the app was collecting. What they discovered was more shocking than a Pikachu who caught you sleeping with his wife. Players knew the app would use their GPS data to run the game, but it also had access to your Google account, which essentially means it could look at all of your previous search history, your contact data, and everything in between. I should say they quickly patched the issue and cut back what they had access to, but had BuzzFeed not noticed it, would they have stopped? Spoiler. TechCrunch went further, noting the game's ability to perform audio fingerprinting through access to your camera and microphone. The Electronic Privacy and Information Centre, catchy name, sent a letter of complaint to the FTC because Niantic hadn't given good reasons for why they were mining all this data from users, and they'd not been transparent for how long they were going to keep the data. As you can tell, the Niantic didn't fall far from the Google tree. The letter concluded that there was no reason for them to take all this data, and in fact any potential benefits didn't outweigh the harm it would do. Niantic eventually responded in a 7-page letter, front and back, which spoke highly of the app, saying that it had been praised by health officials, teachers and mental health workers for promoting positive play and discovery. They only mentioned sponsored locations once and never mentioned the fact the game has two customers, the players and the businesses. I guess the printer ran out of ink before that part. Part 7. So what have we learned? Not a lot. Pokemon Go has the ability to modify our behaviour and make us walk places we might otherwise not go, like people's front gardens, bat caves or brothels. In short, it has the ability to align our actions more closely with those wants of a business, with a deep enough marketing budget. So why is Pokemon Go removing its pandemic-friendly features? Well, the high street's on its knees, brick and mortar stores are struggling more than ever, and they'll do whatever they can to get people shopping again. This means Niantic can charge whatever they want for the privilege of driving hordes of people to a specific location. It's the classic case of capitalism over public health. And if that's not a dystopian future, I don't know what is. Thanks very much for watching. If you liked it, like it, and don't forget to subscribe as I make one new video every single week. If you'd like to watch another comedy deep dive from me, there'll be a playlist of them here, or there'll be a suggestion of one here. Oh, and don't forget to become an internet explorer via my subreddit or Patreon. Both of those are linked below. Godspeed, and I'll see you all next week.